Welcome back once again to the Fast Life Podcast. Glad you're here with us again. Me and my brother, Jesse, we just decided we were going to, kind of do a real wrap up of 2018. Kind of didn't know where we were going to go with it or whatever, but, we kind of started on the path of, when we first started this podcast to, kind of where we were and the lessons we learned and things we want to change and fix and whatnot. So, just kind of a podcast we thought we'd run with and see how it goes and, put it out there. So I hope you enjoy it. Before we get into that, though, I'd like to thank our sponsors, D&D Exhaust. You can go to their website at dandexhaust.com. Also, you can phone in orders at 844-DND-PIPE. And don't forget to put in Fast Life, one word, for a percentage off when you check out. Also, don't forget to check them out on Instagram at DND Exhaust. And like I said, D&D is one of the leaders in high performance exhaust systems, some of the best quality exhaust systems on the market, proven to put down power and all that jazz. So check them out for sure. I also want to thank Texas Performance MC. You can give him a follow on Instagram as well as add a .com on the end of that. You can always stop in at Texas Performance down in Cedar Park, Texas, and talk with Mark and see what he can do for your bike and what you might want to do for your bike this year. It's the off season right now, so it's a good time to get your bike in there and possibly get some performance upgrades or even just some service and maintenance work. So check him out as always. I also want to thank painthuffer.com, Painthuffer Metal Flake on Instagram. You can always go on to Instagram and see some of the most amazing, talented artists in the United States or world. I'm not sure if probably the world. I think so. Those dudes out in Japan and Thailand are killing it on the paint game. So anyway, you can always go on there. You can also go to painthuffer.com, like I said, and you can order flakes, pearls, FBS tapes, and House of Color products as well. Brian's doing a lot of big things for us artists here in the community, so want to thank him, and you guys should definitely be following Paint Huffer on Instagram. I also want to thank Horsepower Inc. You can go to horsepowerinc.net, check out all the awesome parts they sell, from air cleaners, big bore throttle bodies, exhaust systems, fuel injectors, or you can always stop in or send your motor out there to just get it built, get it tuned in right, get it all set up. I know they got a nice showroom now in their new spot in Indianapolis that has, if I'm not mistaken, quite a few cool things like Dixon flannels, and they really upped their own line on shirts and hats and things and hoodies. So check out Horsepower Inc. You can go to their Instagram at Horsepower Inc. as well as go to the website horsepowerinc.net, as well as on Facebook at Horsepower Inc. Indy. I also want to thank, like I said, this month we're going to be giving away these 14-inch T-bars. So give 4130 Chassis Works a follow on Instagram, and don't forget to go to our Patreon, which you can catch a link on fastlifegarage.com. Go on there, pledge $1, pledge $5, pledge $10, pledge whatever you like. It gets you in the hat. So I appreciate that. And just know that the Patreon is one of the main supporters of this podcast to help keep it going. So like I said, me and my brother, Jesse, we just sat down, talked some shit, talked about things we wanted to change. It's not really motorcycle related, to be honest with you. So if that's what you're looking for, this probably isn't the first podcast you should check out, but it's kind of like admitting our faults and, trying to move forward and grow and build this podcast. So, we just kind of thought we'd talk about some shit. So, hope you enjoy it. Hope you guys, whatever, just enjoy it. Thanks.
Hey guys, you ready to let the dogs out?
Fast Life Podcast. Okay, what's up, guys?
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, we wanted to do a podcast, man, just kind of like a reminiscing, recapping of 2018, since we started this podcast, and, just kind of going over some of the shit that took place, on and off the podcast mics.
Has it been like an actual, are we at a year right now?
Well, it depends on how you look at it.
I mean, from our first unreleased one, has it been a year? Right
now, literally, I just got a today.
Yeah.
I just got a on Facebook how they do those
memory things.
So today last year we were doing the one with Homer.
Okay, yeah.
And Zombie Mike, and
that
we
was
were down
when we went
Houston.
we went to Houston and watched the
Supercross.
The Supercross.
Yeah, so that was a year ago today. but we recorded those podcasts before we did the Simpson one. Because remember, we came back and literally had to go to Simpson the next day.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because we did those. We released Simpson first, though, because we wanted that to be our first actual podcast.
Yeah, I remember because we went down that weekend. We stayed at Zombie Mike's house. We recorded the podcast with Homer, and then we recorded the podcast with Zombie Mike and Mark. But I don't know why we didn't release that one. But it was just, I don't know.
I think we were still in the
learning how to do it phase.
Yeah, I think it was very just too all over the place.
Yeah,
wasn't very straightforward. I mean, like, we get on tangents on here, but I think on there it was like the whole thing was one fucking tangent.
I remember talking about it was kind of an ongoing joke for a while. We were talking about that Crazy Town, the come my lady, come
oh
my lady.
Yeah. That started in you guys started that whenever you went to
that was
Florida?
No, that was that podcast.
Or was it that podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so then
yeah
we literally came back that night, and then I remember because I had to take Britta to the airport because she was going either to Florida or Cali to see friends and family.
Yeah.
And then we jumped on the road and drove down to Simpson.
Yeah.
And then on the way back, you dropped me off at Mark's, and I rode my FXR back because Mark had it.
Yeah, and then it was like fucking icing.
Yeah, it was gonna ice that
night. You had like
ice
on your helmet and shit. I remember that. Yeah,
it was crazy. But yeah, man, it's been a year. It's
fucking came a long way.
Came a long way, but it's weird how like in the back of your head, or at least in my head, it's like, hey guys, we're working on this. We're still doing this. It's like,
already been a year.
It has not happened yet. You know what I mean?
Sorry, guys.
It's weird, man. Well, it's real strange. Like, not trying to complain or anything, but it's real strange how like we didn't do as much work in general, like as far as on bikes last year.
Yeah.
But we also spent I didn't think that doing podcasts was going to take that much time out of the day or just.
We spent our whole first half of our year really traveling and doing podcasts. Really. Yeah. Like all the way up until a little after Giddy Up, I think we were steadily doing.
I mean, shit. Let's look. We did. It was Simpson, then Homer Signs, and then Zombie Mike came up for actually we did one just me and you. It was number 3, and then Zombie Mike came up for IMS. Yeah. And we did that one with him, which we also did. Like I remember that day because this is crazy. The day Zombie Mike came to the shop, me, you, him recorded a podcast. Then Danger Dan came to the shop, and we
after IMS, after IMS,
and then we recorded the podcast for Danger Dan's podcast, and then we left and drove to Frisco to do the podcast with Lindahl.
Holy shit!
We did 3 podcasts in one day. We were like dead,
dude. I remember that. It doesn't even feel like there's been a year yet, and that's scary.
Oh, it's all down here from here.
Yeah, I know. Fuck.
Yeah, it's weird.
I feel like we just started this.
Yeah, well, it's real weird. Like, when we started it, it's like you kind of like we learned real quick because when we went to do the one with Paul, we went and had dinner first.
Yeah.
And we had hung out for like 2 or 3 hours first, and then did a podcast.
Yeah.
And it's like it's kind of like. The first thing you do is you need a podcast when you're hanging out with somebody.
Yeah, because we realized then that we wasted all of the good conversation on over dinner and drinks and shit as opposed to getting it on the podcast.
Yeah, that was that. And then literally 2 days or so later after that, we were in the truck headed to NorCal. Mm-hmm. And that's when we did...
we did Fab 28.
Fab 28.
Yeah, they were the first people we did. We did Fab 28. We did...
We didn't really do anybody else in NorCal.
I think we just did Fab 28, and then we also did because we were gonna do Paint Huffer.
Yeah, we didn't catch up with him.
And we couldn't catch up with him.
So we went down and saw Valley Customs.
We did Valley Customs, and then after that, we went and did one with Danny Dixon.
Yeah.
On the way back home.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's looking at it like fuck, man. Like we drove all the way to Cali, NorCal, and SoCal, and Phoenix, and we were only able to pull off 3 podcasts.
Yeah, I know.
It's mad weak.
Well, I mean, we had just started though. I don't think we had that much.
Yeah.
Like pull clout. We didn't have any clout at that point. So people are like, plus like over this past year, podcasts in general have become way more popular. Mm-hmm. Like they're growing fast, and I think at the beginning of this year, people were still kind of iffy about you know, who are these fucking guys trying to do a podcast?
Yeah.
They're not famous, or you know what I mean? Like they're not famous in like celebrity rights.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
whatever, so
it was strange, man. Like it was different because, like, you know, like when we first started, I would listen to everything. I would listen to it after we released it, but it was like you listen to it and you're just like, it's so easy to be so hard on yourself from like, you know, the words you use a lot and this, that, and the other. And it's like, it's a legit like job, in my opinion, to be conscious of that. And like, and work on, you know, because I've talked
like
to
correct
people,
yourself and the things you're seeing that you're fucking up and shit like that. Yeah,
you know, I've done podcasts this year where like I would like do one with someone and be like, oh wow, this dude is very good at speaking, just in general. Like you know, we talk all the time, obviously, but you know, we kind of suck at it, or at least I felt like I did.
Yeah.
And then you get around someone that knows how to say what he's trying to say, nice and smooth, and it's like me, I'm like
clear.
Stumbling over everything. Like
stuttering 12 times.
Yeah, stuttering or saying a lot of shit that doesn't pertain to the thing. You know what I mean? You just kind of it's a weird. It's an art form to it, and I mean I don't think I'm the best at it at all.
I think I told you before that Neil deGrasse Tyson, he like practices like little one-liners and things that for questions he gets asked frequently. Yeah,
for the soundbite kind of.
Yeah, concepts. Like a soundbite kind of thing.
But yeah, that's what it was like, man. So like you would have I forgot who was really good at talking. I think Jeff Holt was really good at talking. There's a lot of people that were, man. You know, but I
think also, you know, you've gotten better at getting information out of people as well over the year. Yeah,
there was those one podcast when we first started. And, you know, it's like where you would sit down and you would ask them like, hey, so, you know, how'd you get started? And then they would be like, well, you know, it just happened. I just kind of started painting, and then, you know, here I am. And it's like,
very stale.
Dude, we got 2 hours to fill, man. You're gonna have to like
Can I get a little more enthusiasm from you?
Yeah, just like share a little bit more information, you know, and that's always the weird thing, is because when you're listening to a podcast, you really, especially with us not having a video form, it's like you don't see like I can see when you're done talking and realize, okay, now I need to say something, as opposed to like you might be, you know, on this, it just might sound like I'm trying to talk over you or something. You know what I mean? Because we had a few of those where it's like, you know, we really had to carry the show a little bit.
For sure. Yeah, we did that shit with Danny, and then we came back, and then who did we do after that?
After Danny Dixon came, we got back, and I think that it was Oliver from Cut Rate.
That's right. Oliver came to the shop.
Yeah, he stopped by the shop.
That's the first time I had ever like met him or known anything about him.
Me too. Oh, I knew about him, but I knew about him, but I hadn't met him until he stopped by the shop that day.
I'm still hella embarrassed about Giddy Up. I'm embarrassed the fuck out of myself in front of him. I was all drunk and shit, talking about how bad my life is.
Yeah, we did the after Oliver, we went on to Daytona. At least I went by myself. I had to kind of learn how to do some of this shit. And
because up to that point I had been doing all the recording and editing and shit.
And that's why. Well, I mean, we got to Daytona. We did the one with Lucky Strike, and then that was it. We did a Drunkcast too, which we, you know.
We've talked about it all year. It's never going to happen, but I think that thing was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's almost like if I had enough time to take both Drunkcasts that we did and just like take parts of it and compile one nice, you know, deal. Yeah. It's just because like the Drunkcast that we did, the first one, it was just too much. There was good stories that took place, but then it would have like these slow dead parts where it's like kind of me, you know. Well,
you falling out of your chair.
A lot of shit, you know what I mean? It's weird. But you know the other we did one with Mark after Dixon's.
Yeah,
I think it was Mark. Then actually no, it was Oliver. Then Mark. Then I went out of town.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you went to Florida, right?
Yeah, Daytona. But you know the at that point though, it felt like the podcast started to kind of it felt like I had a little bit more like I could get people to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little more pull.
Yeah. You know, because even like the at the time, the editor of Hot Bike, Jordan, you know, was like, yeah, dude, like, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, well, where's your hotel? Like, do you have somewhere we can go? And it just never happened. But, you know, it was cool, you know, just starting to get a little bit of like pull, I guess you could say. So, like, hey man, we want to do the podcast. Oh yeah, that'd be dope. And then people want to get on, and it made it a lot easier to get guests on, which can and can't be hard,
Yeah.
Like it's been hard the last 2 months, like getting people on, especially like when you're like, hey,
you need
dude.
a Tinder for podcasts. Swipe right.
Swipe right.
Hey, you want a podcast tonight, babe?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy, dude. It's I didn't, at the beginning of the year, it felt like everything was on the up and up,
Mm-hmm.
like just finished building that bagger. We had the FXR.
The beginning of this year for you was like pretty good.
Yeah.
And then
All downhill. No, that right at the beginning of March is when I wrecked the first truck.
and then after you wrecked your first truck, you just decided to fuck everything else up, I guess.
Yeah, that
the
was
universe
kind of
was like, no, not this year, dude.
Yeah, that was kind of like the tipping point down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You hit the climax, and now you're on the crescendo, headed downward.
But it was real cool because one of the dudes from South Texas, Robert, I think it's Say Days.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
He came through in a big way, and I ended up getting the van from him. So I ended up, getting a good deal on the van. He let me actually pay it out a little bit, and so he came through like a motherfucker to help me get a van, which I was stoked about because
you just got that van. Yep, giddy up.
And then
you slept in the van.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like me and my wife wanted one pretty bad, just for doing the traveling, and at first, man, when we got that van, and it was all about the travel thing, but then one after another, these little like small things that kind of kept setting things back.
Yeah.
Made it to where it was like, all right, fuck it. This is starting to get in the way now.
Yeah. And then you ended up selling it.
Well, the the van thing was cool, and we kind of started wooding it out to because me and my wife planned to drive to Cali.
Yeah.
And we were gonna camp and do all that shit. So we started putting the wood on the floors, and we were gonna make like a makeshift bed and all that shit.
Fancy van shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And we got going on it, but it's like by the time it was time to go to Cali, we had remember that one really shitty customer?
Yeah.
The wild one from fucking Ohio?
Yep.
Oh, man, that dude was on another level.
That guy was a nightmare. Yeah, we did that. And then I wasn't for a solid, for after, what months was it?
You got to think, man, we ordered...
For a solid couple of months, I haven't really been on these anymore. I haven't had anything to do with them. I can't even remember when it started, but for a while. And I mean, I still don't technically, have anything to do with these very often.
Well,
but
we went to Cali the first time. That's whenever I started doing a lot of this.
Yeah.
And then we came back is when we did the trip to go out of town to Horsepower Inc. and Boosted Brad and all them.
Which was fucking awesome for me.
Really?
Yeah. That was just another piece of your fucking shitty year, dude. When we went out there and your bike got stolen while we were podcasting. It's fucking great. That's such a crazy... I've never been around something like that that's happened. Somebody got their vehicle stolen. That's such a crazy feeling, walking outside and, we all were just laughing and fucking chilling and talking about shit, drinking a couple beers. And we just fucking walk outside and, just fucking hit a wall, dude. It's like, dude, where the fuck did the bike go? At first I'm like, this is not happening. What?
Yeah, that's kind of how it felt, too.
And then I was like, dude, that motherfucker is legit gone.
Yeah.
God, dude.
It's a weird thing, man. You kind of hit the nail on the head right there. It's like some of these setbacks legit feels like hitting a wall.
Yeah.
Where it's whether it's the wrecks that took place that I, whatever. But, it was, I think it's, for the most part, I think that what I've got out of how the year was just a very humbling thing. You know what I mean? I had it kind of worked out in my head of how I felt about it, but it's it really kind of was a course correction, you know what I mean, that I'm still kind of learning from at this point, because it was at that point where we were doing less work, we are now charging quite a bit of money and getting good money for paint work, but we're taking in less, and things are a lot more, we had to iterate the reasons why we wouldn't take on certain jobs and why we'll take other ones, which I felt like that kind of got me a little backlash too.
Yeah.
Because it's the way it felt was like, it felt like customers don't want to be told no, you know, even if like you telling them no is like
beneficial to them.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, basically what it boils down to is like towards the end of the year, between like having 2 bikes that I had going on that were close friends that were not like, I don't know how the right way to say it, but I wasn't having the freedom to be creative on it. I was more forced to have to do what they want, how they want. That kind of made it weird. And then, you know, all the stuff that took place with the, you know, just the whole year with that DFW Dyna Crew stuff, and, you know, which, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, drag that out or make it worse. You know, I said what I said, and shit's on the table. So.
It is what it is, man. Yeah, this fucking year, dude, it's been pretty crazy. I mean, it's fucking a lot of growing for me too.
What's your take?
The beginning of the year was like probably my favorite part.
For me too, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool because we were doing a lot more traveling, and you know, at the end of the day, that's all I really ever want to do. But it's just I learned a lot, man. Like I got into that relationship with that chick, and then that all ate shit. Fuck, dude, I don't know. It's just like I'm not the same person now. So last year when we did that fucking podcast with Danger Dan, the one that made us want to do a podcast,
yeah,
and I was like, yeah, I just want to work on my mental health for my New Year's resolution. Yeah, stupid. All right, let me tell you what, it's stupid. Because the more you try to fuck with your own fucking like head and like overthink shit, the worse things get. You know what I mean? So it's like just chilling out, accepting shit for what it is. Like that's all you got to do, man. Mm-hmm. That's kind of something I learned this year, was just to like quit being so overbearing on like yourself and what's going on. Like if shit hits the fan, don't be like, oh fuck, like this is fucking bullshit. This is so like, this is all my fault, and you know, just blow it out of proportion. Yeah, I mean, that is definitely something I learned this year. Not that a lot of bad shit happened to me, but just the fact that I've navigated through avoiding a lot of bad shit. Yeah. So the fact that I was successful with that, I think that what I'm trying to say is the more you try to focus on your mental health and making yourself a better person or whatever, honestly, the worse you become.
Well, I guess just staying on course and staying occupied in your mind is
exactly the key. It's just like trying to quit smoking or something. Like the more you think about it, or trying not to eat a snack late at night, you know, the more you think about that snack, the more you fucking want it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been a weird one, man. You know, I've had my 2016 year was pretty bad too, but at the same time, like there's so many things that happened this year that I'm absolutely in love with, you know. Yeah. That I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to say that this is the worst year of my life, because it's also the same year that we made all these friends from doing the bike night, you know, and then which that turned into like this anvil kind of group of homies. Yeah. Doing the podcast was, you know, being able to meet all the people and get a more one-on-one, intimate kind of conversation with them and know about them was, you know, amazing. But also, you know, like I was saying earlier, able to have an idea. Like I wanted to downsize the business and do more high quality, less volume, right? But then I realized that I can get the jobs, but to sustain the living, that just sustain the business, sustain my livelihood and all that stuff, I realized that I have to kind of find a middle ground of that, you know, of being very good quality, but a little bit more quantity to make sure that we can handle things, because it's hard to have, like, you know, it's hard not to have a check every week, right? Yeah. And some of these projects, because they're high quality, you know, high, you know, details type thing, you can't just like, okay, I'm getting this week, this week, that, and that. It might be 3 weeks, so you got to float. I mean, it's average business pains, you know what I mean? Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but it just, you know, I was able to have an idea, pursue it, and realize, okay, that's probably not the way I want to continue to do things. But now I've done it.
Yeah, you spent the year doing it, and you realize that the negatives don't really outweigh the positive. Yeah. Or the negatives do outweigh the positive.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I had a long talk
You what?
I had a long talk with one of He's a friend. He's a customer. He's a friend. He's also a listener to this podcast. But the dude Aaron Coit, he's a guy out of Midwest Grinder.
I think I heard of him.
Yeah, he's on Instagram. He has that Dyna we painted. It was on the cover of Iron. What's that fucking Chopper magazine? But it had Dynas in it for once. I don't know. Anyway,
we win.
Yeah, we're small wins. But he had a long talk with me about a couple weeks ago, man. It just kind of like he told me a lot of things that in the back of my head I know, but
like you needed reminding.
Yeah, and it was just like, realistically, it's the same thing I've always been. It's just a matter of like, dude, all your problems will be solved if you just work. You know what I mean? Or work harder, do more, spend more time in the shop, get more shit done. That creates more money, which covers most of my problems are financially related,
Yeah, I mean, also working like that keeps you out of like bars and drinking and spending money and shit like that.
That's the other thing. So
yeah, which I mean, the more free time you have, if you let it, that shit will consume you. Like,
it makes you lazier, man.
Yeah, because you become very accustomed to having all that free time, and then whenever you finally go back to work, you're like,
yeah, I'd rather not do this.
Yeah, and then you just want to go fucking back to partying or whatever the fuck it is you're doing, watching Netflix. I don't care, whatever floats your boat.
But yeah, that's what it feels like. It's like it's cool that you have that. We were able to create this great friendship with all these people. But what that also did was opened up a fucking like plethora of opportunities to go hang out, have beers, ride bikes.
And that's what I'm talking about right now, is the fact that happened. We started giving ourselves a lot more free time. I mean, like this year alone is just like probably the most free time we've had ever doing anything with this shop. And I think we kind of need to reel it in.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think we're getting a little wild.
Wild.
We got all these friends egging us on. They're like, dude, let's fucking go, man. Let's fucking party. Let's fucking hang out. Me and you are the fucking kings of taking shit too far. Like fucking drinking all the beer, dude. They fucking drink, but we'll fucking out drink all them dudes. I said it.
Yeah, I said
Come
it.
at me.
But yeah, so it's crazy how that it's also really badass that we were able to make all these friends, but it's also like...
It's a double-edged sword, for sure.
It's like what Joe Rogan says. It's in moderation. Everything is okay.
Everything is okay in moderation.
We got to moderate our friend activity.
Yeah, lately, I think we've been letting that kind of overtake what we need to be focused on. At least for me. I don't want to speak for you. I'm not sure about you, but for me, I feel like, since I'm no longer working here full-time and everything, and then, like, for a while there, I was really filled up with, like, a lot of work and shit from, like, between you and Mastercraft and, like, a couple other shops. But it's like once it got slow during the winter, shit just hit the fan, because I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna go out tonight. And then the next day you're like, well, I'm not working tomorrow, so I guess I'll go out tonight, and then also tonight, and then like next thing you know, it's fucking 7 days and you've been drunk, 7 days in a row, and it's like you're going to bed at 8 a.m. and you're like, this is fucking terrible.
That sounds kind of fun.
That's exactly how my life's been the past like 2 months, dude. It's fun, but it definitely fucking weighs on you, man. Like, I feel fucking 30 years older right now. Like, I need to take a nap, Yeah.
Well, it's weird because like I felt like I found myself, and I think you could be included in that. At almost like this this, I wouldn't say the party planner, but this like entertainer. Mm-hmm. Like we get all these people together to hang out, party, and ride, and do these things and that thing, and then we feel like we have the role of being the...
I don't feel like I want to be the entertainer. Like, I just want to be the entertainer, I have a good time being dumb, So if we get drunk and I start making dumb jokes and shit, and people are laughing and fucking... They keep me going, dude. I run on that shit.
Yeah.
I always have a good time with that.
But yeah, it's like I said, it's like... I'm totally happy that I've met all these people, right?
Oh yeah, dude, I'm fucking really appreciative of what we've got going on.
But I just, I'm realizing, okay, I need to tone it down.
It's just like a new relationship, man. We were just, the first couple of months we were all cupcaking, but like in bro form, So we were like bro caking, and I think we need to all kind of get out of each other's asshole for a little bit.
Yeah.
Or at least me and you need to get out of their assholes for a little bit, because
Well, I think I don't think we're doing anything in February. We're all gonna go party.
Okay, let's work February.
All right, so because we're all partying this weekend.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be great.
It's already scheduled. Like, can we break up after this weekend?
This weekend's gonna be fucking great, dude. Easyriders is gonna be dope.
Yeah.
I've never been to an Easyriders show, so I mean, even if the show itself is lame, it's gonna be dope because we're gonna be in fucking Austin and it's gonna be our homies. And
Yeah.
you know, that's like you should just end the sentence there, dude. That's all you gotta say.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a good time. You know, I don't know, man. Like, you know, this year, you know, coming up, man, I'm still trying to fix some of the fuckery that has taken place last year as far as like the car situation and things like that. But, you know, I don't know, man. Like I feel like, man, I just went into a dark place like the last like 2 months of 2018. And it's kind of a good thing that I only did a few podcasts.
Yeah.
Because
you just had a lot of negative shit to say or what?
Well, it's not that I had anything to say. There was a lot of drama going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that drama fucked with you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of drama, you know, that was taking place. A lot of like backdoor, you know, shit talking.
Yeah, it's like one little thing like that happened to you, and then I think you just became overly paranoid, like kind of aware of what was going on, just like, and I think you got stuck there.
Yeah, I was. I mean, between that and then literally selling the van, buying a car, and wrecking it 15 miles later after I got it.
Fuck me, right?
Then selling my welder, selling all kinds of shit to fix the car, only to not be able to get it registered because of title issues. So it's like, now I'm $8,000 into a car that I can't even drive. And, you know, so it's like things like that just kind of was like piling on top of each other.
What kind of car you could have got for $8,000?
I could have got that car with a clean title.
Yeah, from a fucking. Oh man.
I don't know, man. It's all laughable though. I mean, everything that happened.
There's nothing else you can do, man. That's what I was saying about the whole mental health thing, man. The more you try to fucking worry about it and try to fix it, the worse it gets, man. You just have to let that shit go.
Well, also like the other thing that I had to, you know, I had to check myself when we did the Joe Kidd podcast because of how much beer I drank and who I was on the podcast, right?
Oh, the one you did with him and Mark?
Yeah. So it's kind of like the same thing. Damn near every podcast I've done, except for the phone podcast lately, have been beer-influenced podcasts, you know? Yeah. And it does... You know what's weird is like a long time ago when I first started drinking, I felt like I just was a happier person. And I think I am in the most part, but I'm also the dude that's like, fuck it. You know what I mean?
Well, see, I think that's just how alcohol pulls you in, dude. It was the same way. Whenever I was drinking back in the day, it was like, I think you had a less of a tolerance then. So like you would get drunk faster and it wouldn't be the same kind of drunk as opposed to like now you drink fucking 12, 16 beers and you're fucking shitty drunk. Like actually you're shitty drunk, but you got a tolerance, so it's like you're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you lose even more of a awareness of what's actually going on with you. And then the first time I ever got that drunk was at Giddy Up, and then ever since then I've just always got that drunk now. So, you know, I just constantly a drunk piece of shit. I don't know what's going on. Somebody help.
Help me. No, but yeah, that's you know, I wanted to kind of start this year off and be very limited on the drinking, like on podcasts, or at least if I do drink,
that is definitely a good idea.
Yeah, if I am gonna drink, to like try not to make it a habit to pound them out for a 12-pack in a podcast, you know?
Yeah, I mean, have like 3 or 4 just to loosen up.
There was a like when we did the Purpose Built podcast, dude, I fucking killed a 12-pack on that podcast, but I felt fine. Yeah. Like, I mean, it was also 4.5 hours podcast, 4 hours and 45 minutes.
Well, yeah, so you're drinking. Okay, so like that's like, you know,
still bad.
It's still bad, but you're also only drinking, you know, 4 beers ish an hour as opposed to like doing 6 beers an hour. You know what I mean? So that can make a pretty big difference. I don't know, man. I've also who you're talking to while you're drunk and the mind state you're in before you get drunk, like all of that plays a factor, you know?
Yeah, like I wouldn't do it. I think I'm still pretty good at this. I'd never really do a podcast drunk with people that I'm meeting.
Yeah, because that would just be unprofessional. Like, that's honestly, like, disrespectful to them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that would just be unprofessional.
I mean, I think the first one we really got fucked up on was the Dixon flannel one, but...
Yeah, but they were getting us fucked up.
Yeah,
that was their fault.
They gave us beer.
They gave us beer, and then I had to drive your ass home from Arizona.
From Arizona.
You need to I'm about to Uber you, bro.
That was the best thing in the world, passing out in Phoenix and waking up on the other side of El Paso.
Yeah, you're fucking welcome, dude. I was tired as shit.
I love that.
I'm pretty sure I was asleep for like an hour just
driving,
dude, straight line. I don't know how the fuck I did that.
Yeah, it's weird. That shit happens. Hell, I was driving and texting yesterday, and I don't remember like 4 miles of it. I was just like, fuck, dude.
Yeah, it's scary, right?
I was
or
like
when you're going to work, and then you like just fucking don't even realize you're at work until you're like, oh shit, I drove here.
But yeah, it's I don't know. So yeah, the drinking thing, I want to kind of like curb that a little bit, just so that when we do podcasts, it can be more professional. It's like it's constantly having to remind you. Like I said, it's something that I told myself I was going to do early when we started doing podcasts, but then you kind of lose your, when we showed up to fucking
you lose your original
HPI,
vision. Yeah.
They had 12 packs on deck, dude. We were getting drunk there.
Yeah, I had a good time.
It was a good time.
And then we fucking walked outside.
But see, like the one we did, like I think the one we did with Marcus, that was a good time. We drunk, and it was just a fluid, happy.
That was a good level.
Joking.
That was a good level of drunk. I'm telling you, man. It's all about finding the right spot. You can't overdrink. You know. That's when I go out now. Like I try to limit myself to how many drinks I have. I'll have like maybe 6 beers throughout the whole night at this point, because I mean it's really expensive for one. Even though I only drink PBR, but whatever. It's just. It scares me how comfortable I'm getting with getting fucking drunk, so I don't want to be a fucking alcoholic piece of shit at like 28.
You still got a way to go.
I know.
28.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So I'm only 23 and I'm over here just fucking pounding them with the best of them, Yeah. So I want to chill the fuck out with that.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that the beer is a good catalyst to kind of like bring out a conversation, but
Definitely.
within reason. You know what I mean?
Definitely. It's just like any tool, man. If you use it the right way, it works. If you use it wrong, you're gonna strip the bolt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, fucking drink 4 beers, don't drink 12. It's just hard to stop. That's the thing. I drink one beer. Like I won't even feel like I want a beer, and then we'll go out and they'll be like, dude, just fucking get a beer, man. Quit being a little bitch. Get a beer, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever. Fuck it. I'll have 1 beer. And then 4 hours later, I'm like 6 beers deep, dude. And it's and it's like, I didn't even want to drink to begin with, but I can't stop once I start.
Yeah.
So I think if you can't control that, I think you shouldn't drink during a podcast, unless the podcast calls for being drunk.
Yeah, that's the hard one. It's like, because like when we tried to recreate the first Drunkcast, how many times?
3 or 4, I believe.
It's just it was just so, I don't know. It's like it's hard to get. I don't know. Like you want to get that fluid, joking, everything's funny kind of thing, but.
You want to hit the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to hit the flow.
That flow state.
That flow state, bro.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm done with probation now, so I'm off that. So technically, I can drink.
Technically, I can drink legally now, so whatever.
But I don't know, man. I'm excited.
I think this coming year is going to be cool. I'm excited to see where it goes, especially with how things have developed in my life this year and how things have gone for you. I'm excited to see where it goes. Like now that we're going to have a full year of being like having friends like this and being this close to people, and all of them just like honestly like down to do shit, like down to go to make these trips and down to fucking go to these events, and like I'm excited to see how it goes. I mean, for better or worse, I think it's gonna be a fun little experiment. And then with the podcast too, like, fuck, dude, like this podcast is a lot different than it was whenever we first started.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to watch it grow. I mean, I may not be here 100% part of it all the time, but like it's still cool to
come in
and see how it's going and hear you talk about it and everything. And then with the shop and shit like that too. Like this year, like in 2 weeks, I'm moving out of my mom's house finally. So I'm moving in with my friend Matt. He runs a studio and shit like that. So like we're gonna be making a lot of music together and shit. But like I'm excited to see how that goes. Just see how the fuck I afford this, and see what I have to change.
Well, it's the same thing. It's like I said. It's like you have an idea and you're going for it.
Yeah.
And you're gonna, it could cause problems or it could work, but then you can reassess it.
Yeah, if you don't fucking do it, then you're not gonna ever do anything. You got to get it. That's something that these past 2 years of my life have taught me. If you don't get out of your comfort zone, you're not gonna do shit.
Travis from Biker Living magazine. I don't know if we said this on the podcast, but I know it was a conversation we had, and it really kind of helped add some patience to me, because I guess like anything, like I when I get an idea of doing something, I want to do it and I want to achieve it quickly. And with this podcast, like it's constantly grown since we started, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But it's a slow growth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost like you don't really notice it, and the next thing you know, all of a sudden, bam! Like every podcast is getting a certain amount of listens. You're like, fuck, man! Like I remember when only one podcast had that many listeners.
Yeah.
Now, all of them get that, which is all dope. But he said, it's going to take 3 years to build this into a real media deal, and I'm like.
And then you add that to with what Marcus said, which is like the 9-year rule about, actually being good at anything. So like 3 years it starts growing, and then in 9 years it actually is going to take off.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, I mean, I'm only 4 years into doing music. I'm just above like mediocre, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I think with any kind of skill, trade, or craft, I think that 9-year rule for Marcus and that 3-year growth stage, I think those are very true things.
Well, I think like anything, it's been a trial and error thing where you're, just like I said, again, it's trying certain things, trying different ways of doing this to make it entertaining, realizing some of it causes a lot of problems and some of it doesn't, Well,
that's exactly, man. If you don't try it, it ain't gonna happen, and that's that. Once I started getting out of my comfort zone doing shit is when I grew as a person a lot, like, be it whether work, skills, fun, whatever. Once I stopped being like, I don't want to fucking do that, because what if I move out and then I can't afford it and I'm back where I started?
Yeah.
Well, fucking, so what? You're back where you started, Or it's just like getting out of a relationship, dude. Oh my God, she left me. I'm fucking broken. And then you're like, no, I'm not. I have a fucking fresh start to do whatever the fuck I want,
You got a bike.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, just fucking take what you learned of what not to do and what you just did and apply that to the next thing you do and avoid those mistakes. That's like simple fucking like life fucking principles,
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think as I get older and as everything grows around me and I watch like this shit grow and I become more aware of what's going on around me and like more opening my eyes, it's fucking exciting.
I think that, like you said, because you kind of have two different worlds that you kind of live in. You got your music world, and then you have the bike world, which you ask any of our friends, and, everybody's like, fuck, man, how do I fit? Because we have so much shit going on motorcycle related that it becomes hard to, have your job, have a bike, dude, and have any other hobbies. So, but I mean, I think it's still a good separation because, when one gets overwhelming, you can always escape to the other.
It's very nice, but also, it's like I have like two different friends groups, and like neither of them know each other and they don't know about my life in the other one. It's kind of weird, like I go to the music side and I'm like this fucking, this new young fucking, still learning kind of guy who has no fucking clue what's going on and, trying to learn the ropes still. And they kind of talk to me like I'm like that,
Yeah.
And then you go to the other side and people are like, oh, dude, Fast Life Jesse, my Dyna Wobbles, fucking, what's up, dude? And it's like, it's crazy. And it's like, I want to at some point figure out how to meld them. But honestly, like the things I do music wise,
you got to do like
don't really feel like it correlates with the type of people who ride bikes. You know what I mean?
You don't be that one musician that made like a bike related motorcycle song.
Yeah, see, I don't want to do that, man. That's just gimmicky, and I'm not trying to be gimmicky. I take a lot of inspiration from like the rides we go on and when we go and we hang out and the crazy shit we do, and it's like, I there's certain things I've made after coming back from trips that are like, it sounds like it has nothing to do with like whatever we just did, but it came from that, like. I've made a song after we got back from Indianapolis, and it was all, very influenced with, it's like my own weird take on what it would feel like to do that, But it is crazy having two separate lives, and it sucks because you'll see like one of your friends group out in like a club or something or a bar, and then you're with your other friend group, and then you go over there and you talk to them, and they're like, what are you doing? And then you like try to get them to hang out or something, and they have nothing in common.
Yeah.
It's very wild.
I became, when we first started doing the bike nights, man, like I remember being very, like a much different person. Like I was a lot more like, hey man, thanks for coming out to bike night. My name's Jace, hope you have a good time. You were a lot more
professional?
Yeah, professional or just inviting. But then, then after, 30 weeks, or not 30 weeks, but just.
What are you, pregnant?
Just
You're 76 weeks old?
Well, I'm on the Instagram timeline shit.
Yeah.
But no, like after, 10, 15, 20 bike nights, you're kind of like, you have your core group of friends, and you literally get to this point where, for me, I just wanted to go see these people. I didn't really want to be the personable, guy to everybody else that walks up. And I was like, fuck, man, like that's...
And see, that's why you guys keep me around, because whenever I'm there, I'll talk to anybody. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
but I get it, though. I get the tribe vibe. That's exactly what it is. It's like whenever I'm hanging out with, the bike homies or whatever, I do feel like we're kind of like, we fucking mob up on the bikes and we roll out somewhere and we're just like, what the fuck is up, dude? You know what I mean? All dying to bro it out, dude. It's just, that's kind of what happens, man.
Yeah, but I mean, like...
That's like a primal instinct, and you just can't really... You can't...
I mean, realistically, the reason it all worked was just everybody was inviting and everybody was cool. So there was there's that part of like, almost like it started growing so big that it was like, okay, now we got to start being dicks to people.
Yeah, now we got to chill the fuck out.
The other really strange thing was, not so much anymore, but when we first started doing the podcast, man, like when you go to a bike event, you would find yourself, a listener wanted to really kind of get into a deep conversation about stuff. And it's like, that was kind of tough at first, you know what I mean? But now I know how to kind of navigate those waters a little bit. But at first I'd just be like, dude, I'm just here to drink. Yeah. Or whatever. Texas Hills, for instance, like that day of the show, I was just out of it, dude. So I was just out of it. I was kind of in a bad mood. Yeah. And everybody's like, hey, I love the podcast, man. So what do you think about this? I'm just like, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why I was in a bad mood.
Man, it probably because you were fucking pissed off at me. Yeah, I think
it was you and Shelby.
It was me and Shelby, dude, because she was fucking instigating a lot of shit between me and you. It's crazy that we never fought then. Yeah. It just took one random chick to come over. Yeah. That's all. It was just fucking, that was crazy.
I was over the Tinder chicks.
Yeah, man, it was... I was about to say, though, man, I feel like, granted, like, Shelby's not like a terrible person or whatever.
Oh, you are getting back together?
No, we're not getting back together. But I feel like she did kind of ruin the events for me, simply because I think we were like real fresh, like, relationship, and we were stuck each other's assholes. And, like, I went to Texas Hills and Giddy Up and all that shit, but like, I didn't hang out with you guys. I was just there fucking her in the tent and then coming out and then being mad at her. Like, it's whatever. So I think that was stressing you out. Plus, I was working here full time, and it was like we weren't working like we weren't working like we were used to. And it's just like, I think you were feeling overwhelmed, like you just running out of money trying to pay me my weekly check. And I felt that too. I was like, dude, it's just like there's not enough shit here to do for me to stay here full time. You know what I mean?
It was a weird deal, man. Like it's weird because we easily can open the floodgates and have more work than I know what to do with. I mean, at the right price, or by lowering the price, or by doing something like that. But it's like, there was a stress with that, like when you're looking out at the shelf over there and you're like, fuck, man, there's 4 more baggers.
Yeah, and that was something you had to do because I was working here, because you were trying to make sure that you still had enough money to pay your bills after paying me. Yeah,
but it's like, now I feel like, when we first started the podcast, man, I think there was probably a little bit of hate in my heart, with, kind of still a little resentful from the bagger world that I had left, 2 years prior, or a year and a half prior. Yeah. But now that it's kind of like, just after talking to people, even the conversations I've had with people outside the podcast, I'm realizing that, all the different bike scenes that are out there, they're all dope. I mean, they all have their cool things, which... We've always said that since day one. We really just like to poke fun at people.
Yeah, but now you just totally actually like understand and believe it.
Well, no, I did believe it then, but I feel like it would be cool, and it's something we've been working towards, is bringing in a lot of different types of motorcyclists into this podcast, but still keeping it to, I don't know, like, it's like I want this podcast to represent, or I've always wanted to represent like inspiring people to ride or pick up a trade, or maybe kind of informative, a little bit of a news atmosphere of it. Yeah. But I don't want it to ever be like
gimmicky.
I don't know. It's hard to say gimmicky, because who's to say that me being a drunk ass on a podcast calling out other bike crews in town is any different than some bagger dude that dances on his seat. I mean, it's all fuckery in one form or fashion, you know?
After doing this shit for, 2 years now, I've just kind of grown into the idea that, people are people. And I mean, it's all about how you look at it, dude. I don't know. Like, if you just see some dude on his seat, on his bagger, and you just scoff at that, then that just makes you look like shit, because the people judging that guy,
the thing was,
nobody gives a fuck about that.
I guess, like we had talked about, we haven't really brought this up much, but like since the beginning, but it's because I held this whole like scene and industry in high regards of like some type of
you put them on a pedestal.
Well, I didn't want the bike industry that I was in, whether it was big wheel baggers or not, to just be the biggest joke of ever. Like, like you had your billet choppers that got crazy and turned into like, what Orange County choppers was doing. That shit was pretty gay, right?
Yeah.
Still a lot of craftsmanship, a lot of cool shit that was going on. But then you got these big wheel baggers that just turned into the donks of the motorcycle world. And it was just kind of like, it was cool at first. And it had like this real dope, look. And then it just got more and more clown-like,
Yeah.
But now I feel like now that it's like it's kind of hit that peak, and now it's coming back down to like a more palatable style of bikes, to where like, oh, that looks good, or that looks dope, or this, that, and the other, But
I mean, I don't have anything against them. I mean, it is very true. Like, there's a stereotypical bagger guy like that, and you do come across them occasionally. But I mean, fuck it. Like, don't give that dude your time of day.
I'm not mad. It's not. I mean, that dude.
It is. I get what you're saying, like from the business standpoint, where it's like you don't want to look like you were just part of that goofy ass scene thing, and like, I get that, and that's where your opinion can definitely be tainted as opposed to mine. But I think that you should just not give a fuck what people think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, with a grain of salt. I mean, you got to be mindful of like. I mean, that's what I've been looking at the last couple of, weeks, is like, fuck, man. Like, even though I had intended on the last podcast we did with Steve and Mark, I just got pretty drunk on that one too. And I wasn't intending I was intending for that one to be the new year, new me thing. And I thought that's what I called the fucking podcast. But no, it was
new year, same shit.
Exactly. But I mean, fortunately, like always, Mark saves the day.
Fucking T-Bar Jesus, man, coming in clutch.
I don't know what it is. He just does it well.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know. It's this whole year has been, it's good. It's had its ups and downs, obviously, but this year, hopefully toning it down. You know what I mean? Like just kind of chilling out a little bit more. And I mean, dude, how many bikes did I buy last year? The T-Sport, the fucking Dyna. I sold pretty much 4 bikes.
You bought 3 bikes last year.
Yeah, so I bought 3 bikes last year, and hell, I'm looking at one now. I found an 82 FXR that I have zero money for. But
dude, if you fucking buy that thing, I'm gonna steal it from you, bro. Trade you.
No, I'm good.
Shit, dude, I bought my bike in May.
Yeah, right
of last year. Yeah. And I didn't even get my plates on it until last month.
Just rolling around.
No plates, dude. I went to Indianapolis with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have any. Dude, I never got pulled over for it. I was on fucking toll roads and shit. Passing cops going fucking 80. Like, didn't get pulled over, man. Like, nobody fucked with me.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think that on a bike, people are more passive, but when you have a car like that, it doesn't.
Actually, I'm lying. The only time I've ever been fucked with, it was like 2 a.m. and I was pulling into the racetrack in Waxahachie, like that one right in the middle of town.
Yeah.
And I had parked my bike, and then I came back out, and there was a cop there, and he was like, "Is this your bike?" I'm like, yeah. And he was like, "Let me see the registration and blah blah blah." And I told him like what the situation was, and like I had just bought it. And dude, he held me there for like an hour, dude. He swore I stole it.
For real?
Yeah, like he just was like, "There's no way this is his." I guess, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But he held me for like an hour trying to get all this shit right, and like trying to ask me the same questions, waiting for me to like lie on myself or something, And he's like, "All right, well, I guess you're good to go, man."
It's like, bitch, I got insurance.
I'm like, yeah,
Run
run the fucking shit.
Yeah.
You know, and then he tried to like, you know, after about 45 minutes, he was like, well, yeah, that's a pretty cool paint job though. And then he started asking me the questions that would have got him somewhere. Like, and I was like, yeah, I fucking painted it. And he's like, I bought this bike used. You know, it's not like some brand new fucking 2018, 19 bullshit, you know? I don't know.
As much as I love that 19 bagger, man, I felt like that kind of also set me back pretty hard too, like buying that bike rather than going the FXR route that I was planning on going.
You should have just went the FXR route because you could have been, you know, that much less in payments.
Yeah, but
that's something I'm trying to do in my life. Is I'm trying to live as payment free as possible. Like I'm about to move into this house with Matt. Matt already owns the house. Like he's already got it paid off. So I'm just paying him $400 a month to stay there, which is cheap as fuck.
Yeah.
So. And that's cool for me, but it's crazy where this fucking podcast is at now. And
isn't it funny? Like I think we've talked about it before, but how when we first started, we were like, man, so Harley really fucked up calling these bikes Softails, and what are they doing? Like Dynas are so much better. Like, well, you know what I mean? And now how this is so much different. The conversation,
dude. If I had the money, I would have a new Softail.
Yeah. If
I had the fucking money, but they just.
Do you think we'll be the same way with the LimeWire?
I don't think so. I think the LimeWire or the LiveWire.
I say LimeWire.
Yeah, you said LimeWire. Like,
we're
like about to torrent
thing?
some songs right now.
Yeah.
What's up? No, the LiveWire. It's not gonna have the same pool, man. It's not. It's definitely not because it's for one, it's electric, and you know they just put out the numbers. I guess and somebody said it was pretty shitty.
Yeah, 110 mile range with they say that it's like 45 minutes to charge it at a dealership, and I don't know how that works with like if you know your charging station at home or however that works, but if it's a commuter bike, then that's not a bad deal. I mean,
well, yeah, you're not paying for gas and et cetera, et cetera.
But it's not the kind of bike you're gonna be able to jump on and go rip around town with your boys on the weekend or whatever.
No way, dude. Because then you're gonna have to stop at, you know, you're gonna be out in the country somewhere,
just anywhere, like running around town.
Let me just plug in my fucking bike.
I don't know.
It's not gonna have the same feel, man, as like a mechanical bike, dude. It's like there's things about mechanical bikes, especially about older bikes, that I just love. Like it just feels like an appendage, you know. It feels like a piece of you while you're riding it, you know. I don't hate Harley for doing it. I think it's cool that they're pushing boundaries within their company and stuff. It is kind of hard to grasp where their head is, but at the same time, you know, I'm not qualified to know. You know what I mean? I'm just an enthusiast. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, you know, I think that the bike has some dope styling, you know, but whatever they're doing, I'm sure it's going to be fine. You know, like I said, they got it. They technically got it right with Softails, and they technically got it right with the baggers and stuff, you know. But the other crazy thing was finally seeing that FTR in person. That thing was fucking. I mean, it's nice, but like I said before, I still have the same issues with a lot of the same styling, like the same pieces of styling that they did on it, like the intake and the exhaust and all that shit, which, I mean, I don't even know if they could fix that because of how, like, the California laws are and all that shit. Sneak diss.
Who knows, man? There's so much to talk about that, like, it just don't, as far as like the new news that's been going on in the bike scene, but it's like I've been so busy working that haven't had a chance to really think about, you know, tangent points to be made or whatever, you know.
I just know that California shit is dumb.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
I mean, that's my uneducated opinion, like, just from being over here in Texas. Like, I'm sorry, y'all, that sucks.
It does. That's like everything.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I just fucking eat those tickets, you know? I just fucking keep the exhaust on there, and
just like every 3 months, you got to go sit in jail for like 2 weekends to pay off those tickets. Yeah. $1,000 ticket, like, you got to be getting some good money to sit that out.
That's retarded for $1,000, dude.
Yeah.
What do you get a ticket for $1,000 out here? Like, what would that be? That's a fucking assault charge.
Yeah, that's a charge. Like, that's how much, like, the DWI was $1,000.
Yeah, to get bailed out.
Well, just like the charge itself.
Yeah, the conviction itself.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it was a lot more money on top of that through all the things you had to do. Yeah,
but the charge was $1,000. Yeah, that's like the high, that's fucking some shit right there. $1,000 because you got to exhaust on your shit that's not legal.
Yeah.
That's fucking weak, dude. I could understand like a $200-300 ticket. But I mean, you know, climate change is real. Global warming. We're going to die. I believe it. I totally agree. But don't take my bikes away, bro.
I don't know, man. It's a strange thing. hopefully they'll get it figured out. I don't think it's gonna stick, but what the fuck do I know?
I mean, apparently we know
Your
nothing.
Honor, Jace from the Fast Life podcast said this was not gonna stick.
Tell me if that has any weight. Yeah, I don't know, man. So what are you gonna try to do this year? You got any plans for, like, mentally or like shop wise? Like, what do you got going on?
With the shop thing, we're already on. We opened the doors back up to doing more baggers.
Okay.
Which I think I've been in that world before, as far as like working on those bikes and managing a larger workload. So the goal is to take on more work and try to bury myself more in work in general. Like, because busy, yes, I've been busy all last year, but it's like I did have a lot more free time. You know what I mean? Like I've always told you, it's like you end up taking it for granted. Like, I hate the parts. Like, if I'm ever bored in my life, I'm fucking up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I could be at work and I have plenty of shit to do at work, or I have plenty of shit to do on the computer with learning shit, how to do podcasts or video, all the other things.
Such a millennial thing to say.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
no, it's totally true.
It's
you just feel guilty for like taking free time.
Well, it's like, like I get it. Like, I like playing video games, but I like playing video games after I feel like I busted my ass at work. And I get home at 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, I'm going to stay up and play a game till 1 in the morning, and I'm going to do that. Give myself some escape time. But the main thing is, like, it's just tackling more work, trying to, just kind of dig out of the hole that I found myself in from last year. We had those opportunities, which I don't really want to talk about it much, but just the California, the NorCal shit. Which I'm trying to fly out there next week to see.
I'm excited to see what goes down with that.
I mean, it'd be nice, and it'd be cool, but I mean, who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I can't really talk about it.
But we have the trips planned. I'm kind of on the fence on Daytona, because I know that for the next couple of months I'm going to be taking in some pretty big jobs that are going to take a lot of time, and that's exactly what I need. I need jobs that are going to pay some bills and mainly I just want to do shit that, same thing, like I want to do what I've been doing on Dynas and FXRs and whatever. If it's big wheels, I want to do it on big wheels. I don't want to do some basic ass paint jobs on there.
Yeah, you want to bring like that Dyna style into the big wheel bagger scene?
Well, right now, dude, like I feel like right now I think that whole, like, the way I do my paint jobs, I feel like is what people are starting to do in some of the big wheel stuff.
You know what's really funny though? Because I remember being like, when we were in 2016, when you were like just getting into Dynas, and you were like, I want to take my fucking big wheel bagger flow and I want to put it on those Dynas, man.
I did say
like,
that.
Nobody's doing that shit on Dynas, bro. I'm trying to like do these panels, but I'm trying to make them flow. And now it's like totally opposite spectrum. I'm trying to take these Dyna paint jobs, man. These fucking Dyna panels, bro. I'm trying to put them on that fucking big wheel bagger, dude. Like.
And now I'm like trying to figure out how to make it flow. Honestly.
Yeah, like you forgot how to do it.
Yeah, it's like it's weird. It's a strange conundrum. But it is so that's kind of something that I really want to get into. It's like between that and then polishing this podcast up and making it pretty fluid is a big deal too.
I think you should start emailing me these and letting me mix them for you. Just FYI, because I have some issues with the way you mix these.
Mix these nuts.
I'm just saying.
Nah, that's cool. There's a lot of things I want to get better at. I mean, I still need to learn all the settings and how to adjust these things correctly. I don't like not knowing how to do something. You know what I mean?
I mean, I can show you all day, but it's like until you start developing an ear for it, it's just really none of it makes sense, and it like you will move knobs and you're like nothing's changing. But you have no idea what it's really doing,
Yeah.
Like, I fucking diddled with that shit for 2 years before I ever knew what the fuck mixing really was. So, it's not something you can just grasp overnight. It's just like welding. You have to sit there and fucking learn the techniques and what's right and shit like that. So, if you just want to email it to me, man, I got you, bro.
Yeah, that
or
doesn't...
just put on a USB. Because I got plugins and shit that are real nice. And, like, dude, it's going to sound... Just do one and then listen to, like, do one you already like mixed and then let me mix the same one, like, and then you're gonna be like, what in the fuck? It's gonna be totally different. It's gonna be better than Joe Rogan, I promise you. And I'm not lying. I'm not exaggerating.
Well, the last couple of podcasts we've been doing at a little conference room downstairs.
Echoey as
it's
fuck.
so echoey in there, so I'm trying to get away from that too.
I told you that whenever we did that room, is it's gonna sound like that. It's just because it's so small. The bigger a room is, the less you're gonna have like all the echoes bouncing off and then going into the mic.
Well, it's just tough, like being in that apartment now, not having the garage like we used to have.
The garage was pretty nice, man. We got some good sound in there. It was a perfect size room.
Yeah, so the garage was nice, but it's like, you know, if someone's passing through town, but hey, dude, stop by the house. We're right off the highway. We'll bang out a pot. I mean, I did 4 or 5 that way.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, moving to that apartment, into that, you know, 1-bedroom apartment, it's like we did quite a few podcasts in the living room, which didn't sound too bad, but
it's like your wife's up there and she's trying to sleep or whatever the fuck
she's watching TV. I made her like, you know, on the PlayStations they have the you could plug headphones into the.
Made her put in headphones.
Yeah, so I'd make her plug in headphones to the controller, and she could watch all her TV shows and shit while we're doing podcasts or while we're doing phone podcasts and shit.
Yeah.
So,
also, I mean, as like somebody who's being podcast, I feel like that might make them uncomfortable though. Just being there and like they're white, like somebody who's not part of it is just over there, like, you know, walking around or doing shit. Like it can be distracting, especially for somebody like me.
Well, it's like, you know, going back to what we were saying earlier about the time. Like over time, once things are kind of figured out in my life, as far as like, you know, I still want to. If I'm staying in Texas, I still want to find another way of doing a shop and maybe another way that I can have an actual room or place like dedicated to do podcasts.
Actually, Matt is his studio is not far from here, and he's set up to do podcasts too.
But the only problem with that is like I don't know.
It's just like you kind of have to like schedule times and shit.
I don't want to do that.
Annoying.
Because you never know when you know something's gonna happen. Like some of the best, like, you know, Big Joe, fucking
they're like passing through and they're like, hey man, I'll be in Dallas 30 minutes, dude. What's up? You know, type shit. And if you have to schedule it, they're like, well, I can't get in until Thursday, so I guess fuck off, dude.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be fucking terrible. Yeah, that's not a good idea.
But yeah, so I mean it works. I mean, it ain't the best, you know. Eventually, I mean, we're going to keep doing this podcast, and eventually it's going to evolve into something much bigger, I think. Finally found some ways of doing the video stuff. There's this new camera out that's pretty sick. It's like, it's a live stream type of camera.
Is that one you bought already?
No, it's something I learned last night.
Oh, shit.
It's another $500 camera.
Just sell that one you bought.
Yeah, dude, I got a lot of shit that I bought that I don't use. Like that fucking gimbal thing, like, I might as well sell that fucking thing.
If you're gonna get rid of that, give it to me. I'm lying. I'm gonna do the same
thing
you do. I just want it just to have it. Like, and I'm never gonna use it.
I was like, dude, I'm gonna do so many cool videos. I've never used. I've had it for 6 months. I bought it.
You hooked it up once in here.
I bought it before I moved out of the apartment in like before Giddy Up, I think, and I never used it.
Yeah, because we were like, we're gonna do a lot of traveling this year, and we want to fucking like document it and fucking et cetera, et cetera. And then, you know, the first fucking trip we go on.
Yeah.
The bike you're on gets stolen.
I don't even think I took it on the trip, to be honest with you.
No, you didn't. Good thing.
But yeah, it's I don't know, that stuff. I mean, definitely got more bike trips planned. Hopefully getting back to Sturgis. Hopefully doing a lot of that stuff.
The only trip I'm for sure gonna be able to do is like probably Sturgis. I wanted to go. I thought about like trying to make it on the California shit, but that's probably not gonna happen. I just can't afford
even me.
I can't afford 2 weeks, man.
I'm trying to save up. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. That 2-week trip, it's like I'm going to try to save up enough money to A, have money to take that trip, and B, pay all my bills in June. You know what I mean? That way I'm not having to worry about, you know, because you also got to think like us, we're going to be, you know, busy too because of the Sturgis crunch. So it's like,
we always have those.
So it's like, you know, 2 weeks out of the middle of June, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's still there, you know?
Yeah, I know for a fact, like, I'm not gonna be able to save up.
I want to go to Sturgis for sure again.
I definitely want to go to Sturgis like that. Like I said, if there's anything I'm gonna do this year, it's definitely gonna be Sturgis.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you know, the goal for me legitimately is to just get the bagger done, which I'm at this point now where like the bike looks good. I might just do, I think we talked about it the other day, like maybe just do suspension, put some nice rotors on it, go in and do the zippers cam thing that like D&D was talking about doing, and paint it, and that's it.
So like $3,500.
Yeah, like maybe $3,500 worth of shit, and then you know, just be content with that. You know, obviously it'll have a paint job, so it'll have that kind of like curb appeal, but you know, just man, like this last year I spent so much money on bikes, and it's like I made a lot of the money back, but it was just still constantly flipping back and forth.
I also think that you were trying to do that whole like buying bikes and flipping them thing.
Well, the goal was I was kind of trying to do that shit like cut rate.
Like where he builds something and just
build
sells
something
it.
for yourself and then sell it. And I'm just not cut out for that because I don't,
He's a lot. He doesn't.
I like to build.
You'll spend a lot more money than he does. I feel.
Well, I like to build shit and then run it into the ground and then sell it.
Yeah, exactly.
And they would build it, maybe ride it once and then flip it, and that's the kind of that's the main difference.
That's why he was actually making money on that.
Yeah. So, that's I don't know, but by not wasting or not, I wouldn't say waste, but not spending so much money on customizing bikes, I think I'll be able to save enough money to do the trips and then hopefully pay off some of that tax stuff that I got to do and all that shit.
So what all trips are you for sure doing? I know you're doing the California one, obviously. So you're trying to do Sturgis as well. And what about Florida? Are you going to?
Florida's up in the air depending on work and if I finish my bagger.
Okay.
Because I'm not gonna ride it there with stock paint job. Like if I go, I'm gonna try to show off something. But I mean, I want to do a lot of smaller trips, man. Like I want to do like little 4-day trips, just getting away. Yeah. Kind of the goal for me, honestly, is to have like little 4-day trips where I can like maybe go somewhere, but on the way, like stop and do a podcast with a shop or an individual. You know what I mean?
So like shit to like Austin or something?
No. I'm like, I'll go to Phoenix. Like I'll ride to Phoenix on, I'll leave Thursday morning.
2 days there, 2 days back?
Well, I can get there in a day.
I mean, yeah, but you know what I mean.
But I mean, yeah, just go out there, rip a couple podcasts, hang out, and then, ride home. You know what I mean? Like those are the kind of things I want to do, a lot of shit like that.
I miss the desert, man.
Yeah.
I want to go back out that way.
So between those, and obviously it's kind of ideal having the bagger for that because it's new, it's always going to work for the most part, those kind of things.
Yeah, unless you...
Just sucks like I'm probably going to put like 20-something plus thousand miles on it.
Oh, yeah. If you weren't, would you even be a biker?
I don't know. I didn't really put that many miles on a bike last year. I mean, I probably still... The crazy thing is...
Well, last year we only did... You did that two big trips, and then I only did one. Like, we didn't go to Sturgis
I still think I still put probably at least 20,000 miles on a bike.
I put at least...
Hell, on my bagger, the new one, the black new bagger.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, I had 5,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
So I bought that at the end of September.
Mm-hmm.
So
we've done a lot of riding because I put when I bought that bike in May. I got it with like it had 11K on it or something.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm at almost 28, so I put 14,
15.
Yeah, 14, 15K.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Those are rookie numbers. We didn't get those numbers up.
Those are rookie numbers. Yeah, I don't know, man.
So what about you this year? What are you going to try to get yourself into?
Well, this year, so like just finishing what I started last year towards the end of last year. I'm about to move in with Matt, who's he's a pretty successful like local musician in Dallas. He plays a lot of shows and shit. They got a reggae punk band kind of thing, and he has a studio and shit. But I'm gonna move in with him. And then a couple of his band members are actually going to start playing for me as well. So, including him, Matt. Matt plays drums and guitar, and then his buddy also plays guitar. So, like, we're all going to start kind of collaborating on shit. So, music-wise, I'm doing a lot. I'm going to start actually doing, like, live shows and shit like that. So this year I'm going to start booking. Probably don't go to the first couple ones because they're going to be bad. Just because it's a learning curve. Like, it's not that, the music or anything's bad. It's just the fact that trying to figure out how to do it live and make it work and have energy, that's the hardest part. So there's that. And then making sure my Dyna doesn't die this year. I ride the fuck out of that thing. I honestly need to quit beating the shit out of it. I might end up selling it and getting FXR if an opportunity arises, like where a good FXR comes across, which is what I would want to do, but I'm definitely not planning on trading that in and getting anything new. Fuck that. I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah.
I might buy a car this year. Maybe. I don't know. I'm thinking about it, but
still just all day biking everywhere.
All day biking everywhere, yeah. If I need to, I'll borrow my mom's car, which is not something I do too often, but I do it.
It does.
I I really want to continue doing what I've been doing in these past couple of years, but everything's starting to gain a lot more momentum. You know, it's kind of starting to all snowball, like between the motorcycle shit and the music shit. You know, I already feel like this increase in people paying attention to the music shit I'm doing. I mean,
yeah.
And even if it's not like strangers, it's like our friends and shit. And I feel like there's a lot more momentum within me to want to go and do more with it, you know, as opposed to just sitting at home and just making music and not playing shows or trying to go anywhere with it. Like, I feel a lot more driven. And then the motorcycle stuff, man, I really, really, really want to do another cross country trip this year. That's why I'm saying, like, probably Sturgis. I really want to go, like, if we do, I want to go the same way we went last time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't rip one of those, like, 4 or 5 day weekend trips with me.
And I would definitely do one of those with you.
You just gotta dial in the bike, make sure.
Yeah, before we go on any trip, though, I'm definitely gonna have to take it over to T-Bar Jesus or somebody and let them go through it, because he hasn't checked my shit since last year.
Yeah.
Since I got the bike, and I put a lot of miles on it, and I mean, I maintained it so far. It doesn't wobble anymore, so that's cool. I don't know if that's good or not. You know, when the Dyna stops wobbling, I get a little worried. That's not normal. But yeah, man, it's just trying to chase all that. Like, last year I just wanted to focus on, like, mental health and get out of my comfort zone, and I did that. You know, now that I'm out of my comfort zone, man, I feel a lot more confident in myself and in my abilities of who I am. I don't feel so afraid to, you know, just drop everything and go across the country. I don't feel so afraid to, you know, go on stage and totally bomb, you know, anything like that, man. It's like, it was fucking life-changing, just getting out of your comfort zone, dude. So much shit has happened. I've made so many friends last year and so many connections with people, and I'm honestly in a position now where it's like I never would have imagined I would have got here, you know. And it's like a lot of the things I'm doing now are things that I was like, man, this would never happen to me. Like, you know, I always, like, looked up to Matt. He's a fucking badass musician, and now I'm, like, fucking about to move in with this kid, you know. So it's like I'm about to learn a lot of shit from him, or just doing this bike shit, you know, being as confident as I am with the bikes and going across the country. I never felt like, you know, when we first went to Sturgis, did that first trip, I was like, this is terrifying, you know. I'm scared. No longer like that. Yeah. You know, so it's cool. I'm excited. As long as ALS doesn't take me out this year.
Fuck out of here.
As long as nothing takes you out this year, you know, as long as I don't go down, dude, I think if I continue doing what I'm doing, man, I might actually get somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be. I think that, you know, all the things that took place last year, a lot of things I could have controlled. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, realistically, they all are. You know, like 100%. I could have took the keys out of the bike, wouldn't have got stolen. Yeah. I could have been, you know, more attentive driving the car. So it's like, I think that all the problems that took place are just like course correcting, like I said earlier, about making me more aware of just the everyday things that I do and being more disciplined, you know, is the main thing, is just being more on top of things. And, you know, same thing with the taxes. That's just shit that I was undisciplined about, you know. So everything that took place, I feel like, is not like me saying, oh, the world hates me, I'm going. It's just like, it's like a loving, it's like me slap on the wrist from life. It's everything that I wasn't, like, giving attention and being disciplined in life, right, all just kind of came back and was, you know, checking me. You know what I mean? So like, after watching you go through that shit, this year I'm definitely doing my taxes. Yeah. So I'm, like, gonna keep all my receipts and whatever, all that shit. I'm not sure exactly how to do that. I've never done it before, but I'm definitely gonna do it this year, because I don't want to, like, you know, 4 years from now I get like a job where I'm paying taxes and they're like, hey, what's up with all the way up until you're 26? Yeah. You know? You're like, fuck. Because, like, I have not had a job where I've ever paid taxes except for Screams. Yeah. So I might be fucked, you know what I mean? No, you'll be fine. I don't know how that works, but this year I am going to try to pay attention to that. It's cool having you fuck up before me, though, you know, so thanks for that, dude. I appreciate that. I get to see what not to do. And then I think this year I want to try not to drink so much, try not to party so much. I'm straight lying right now. I know. Dude, I can't wait to drink this weekend. Dude, me fucking too. Like, that's what was in my head when I was saying that. I was like, I'm just going to try not to drink that much. And then the first thing that popped in my head was Austin. Yeah. Have you ever been to an Easyriders show before? Me? Yeah. Yeah, dude. What's it like? It's pretty.
Is the show kind of just iffy, and then like what you do around it is cool, or
the shows? The Easy Rider show is more geared towards custom motorcycles, right? So it's like a legit show.
Is it like more chopper kind of thing, like custom chopper?
Honestly,
stuff?
You're probably gonna see more baggers than anything.
Yeah.
I mean, put it like this: you're gonna see everything. You know, you're gonna see your choppers that people build. I don't know how much vintage choppers you're gonna see.
So it's not gonna be like Giddy Up?
No, it won't be nothing like that. But you'll see a lot of like choppers themselves, just like choppers that people have built, painted, and done things like that. You know, more show bikes. You know, and then of course you'll see a lot of baggers. You'll see a lot of different bikes that are built and painted. You know, but it's just a cool show to see bikes and see different shops and see different people. More than anything, I'm just trying to support the show and go down there and get fucked up.
Yeah, that was the original idea too. It's like, you know, this show hasn't been down here in a very long time. I mean, when's the last time I was down here?
It's like 2007 or 8.
Yeah, see, I was still fucking shooting blanks probably. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good show. I know a lot of different shops from all different parts of Texas and probably even Oklahoma that are coming in and bringing stuff down. So I'm pretty excited to see what's there. You know, and yeah, it'd be cool, man, just to, you know, network with more people, I think is the key, you know, and like with us trying to expand the type of work that we're doing for people and maybe even open the doors to where we can have, you know, you back on full time or even somebody else or something like that is something that I'm looking into this year. But it's really just opportunity, man. Like it's a good opportunity to go down there and meet people,
right? You
know, and whether it's just guys like us that are down there just partying and having a good time, or the next shop that you want to have build your bike, or maybe it's just getting some inspiration of what you want to do to your bike while it's still wintertime, you know what I mean? Because I mean, fuck, like you go there now, like you kind of could still get in before Giddy Up with, you know, Mark or any other shop across Texas that you know could build the kind of bike you want to build, you know.
Yeah.
So be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. We're not gonna ride down there though.
No, we're gonna cage it, as real bikers call it.
We're gonna cage it, and then we're gonna get fucking wasted and Uber everywhere.
Yeah.
That's why we're not riding our bikes. Yeah. I think this is our last hurrah before we try to calm the fuck down. Yeah,
well, that's the good thing, is because there's nothing really going on in February for us. So it's like, it's like, you know, I'm gonna try to stick to my diet at that point and just kind of chill.
I need to fucking do that same thing, man. Holy shit.
It sucks because I don't eat bad, man. It's just beer, dude. I can't lose weight.
I eat like shit. I got 2 fucking different gallons of ice cream at home right now. I got like 4 different types of Lay's, whatever you want. I got SpaghettiOs. I got pizzas on tap. Like, dude, what you want? I got PBR in the fridge.
I do want to drink a beer tonight, though.
Yeah, that actually sounds pretty nice.
Well, shit, man, that's about wrapping it up.
Yeah.
I know we kind of touched on last year and whatnot, and kind of went over some of that shit, but, you know.
It is what it is, what it isn't.
For sure. Well, shit, what's your new Instagram name? My Dyna Wobbles? And what's the other one, the music
spaces.
stuff?
My Dyna Wobbles is the motorcycle, and then the space after party space, but the after party is spelled AFTRPRTY.
What about it? Is there any other website type things that you got going on?
I got a Patreon, but like I've only had like 1 subscriber, so I might just fucking trash that. Sorry to whoever that 1 subscriber is. Yeah. But also,
you gotta push that shit all the time.
Yeah,
and you gotta give them content too.
Because I'm gonna start doing podcasts, like my own podcast and shit. But that's not gonna happen until like sometime next month. Whenever I move in with Matt, me and him are gonna have one in the studio. But yeah, and then I got my music on Bandcamp. If you want to buy it, just type in my artist name, and then I'm on Spotify too. So the same thing, the AFTRPRTY after party.
Cool.
So check it out.
All right, well. We'll see y'all in Austin if you're coming out.
Later, bitch.
If you're still with us, thanks, man. I appreciate you checking us out again. Like I said, we got a lot of big plans for 2019. Looking at doing I think, you know, I got quite a few podcasts that I'm scheduling right now for the remainder of this month in February. So really excited about getting some more guests on and letting you hear their stories and hear their thoughts and not so much of mine. So thanks for sticking with us through all my bullshit and whatnot, and looking forward to, you know, the paths ahead of us. So hopefully we're going to be catching you out on the street, on the bikes, at these shows that we're going to be at, just whatever, man. I'm really trying to keep a much more positive attitude this year and be more on my shit, like I said in this last podcast. So anyway, thank you for checking it out. Please check out our sponsors, dndexhaust.com, 844-DND pipe if you want to order one, and don't forget to use the Fast Life code so they know that you heard about it through our podcast. Also want to thank Texas Performance. You can always give him a follow on Instagram, as well as check out his website. Also, Paint Huffer Metal Flake on Instagram, painthuffer.com, Horsepower Inc.net, Horsepower Inc. Indy on Facebook, and Horsepower Inc. on Instagram. Thank you guys for following us. Hopefully you are checking out our Patreon and pledging $1 or whatever the case may be. We really appreciate it. We got these bars we're going to be giving away at the end of this month, as well as looking at some of our sponsors donating some shirts and other things to give away for our Patreon subscribers. So thank you guys, and we'll be back right after this one, I think, with a podcast based on some of the trips that we got planned with some of our close homies from the Anvil group. So thank you. Have a good whatever you're doing. Peace.